The Galactic Council Hall stretched wider than any city on Earth. Towers of light and metal reached toward the ceiling, which shimmered with stars from countless galaxies. Alien leaders from hundreds of worlds sat in their thrones, each one larger and stranger than the next. Some had 3 eyes. Others had scales that glowed softly. Many had forms humans could barely imagine. They spoke in strange clicks, roars, and hums, but today, the hall was silent. A warning had just arrived. A simple message from an unknown human source. It read, "Humanity is not weak. Do not underestimate them. Their power is growing faster than you know." The council leaders read it in stunned silence. For a moment, the room seemed to hold its breath. Then, one by one, laughter broke out. "Humans," a tall, blue-skinned leader hissed, his multiple eyes narrowing. "This tiny, fragile species? They can barely defend one planet, let alone challenge the galaxy." Another alien, covered in sharp black scales, bared its teeth. "Do you think we fear them? They are nothing. Just a primitive species clinging to their world." The laughter echoed through the grand hall. Even some younger leaders giggled nervously, afraid to question the elders. They had grown up believing humans were weak. Every record of Earth in the galactic archives described humans as disorganized, emotional, and harmless. But not everyone in the council was laughing. In the center of the hall, a small figure stood human, clothed in a simple yet sharp suit that glimmered faintly under the hall's lights. His hands were clasped, but his shoulders were straight, and his eyes burned with determination. This was the human diplomat sent to speak directly to the council. Many had doubted he would even be allowed in. Yet here he stood. He cleared his throat. "Honorable members of the council," he said, his voice steady. "I am here to speak not as a threat, but as a warning. Humanity has changed. We have grown stronger, faster, and smarter. We have learned to unite against threats. If you continue down this path, you will regret ignoring this warning." The hall grew quiet again. Some alien leaders leaned forward, curious. Others scoffed, waving him off. "Your words are meaningless," one elder leader growled. "We have fought countless species. We crushed them all. Why should we fear humans?" The human diplomat did not flinch. "Because you cannot measure our strength by your old records. You see only the past. But humanity evolves. We adapt. We survive. And we fight back more fiercely than you could imagine." A younger council member whispered to a neighbor, "Is he serious?" "Yes," the other replied, shaking its head. "Delusional humans. Always thinking they are special." Despite the mockery, the diplomat continued. "I do not wish for war. I do not seek conflict. But if you choose to attack us, you will face consequences you cannot control. Your fleets will fall. Your leaders will regret their arrogance. Your empires will tremble before a united humanity." A heavy silence filled the hall. For the first time, doubt crept into the faces of some older leaders. But most still shook their heads, dismissing his warning. "Enough," the head of the council roared, its voice shaking the walls. "We have heard enough. Humans are weak. Their threats are empty. Let them think they are strong. It changes nothing. We shall not fear them." The diplomat's eyes narrowed. He had expected this. The arrogance of the council was their greatest weakness. Yet he knew he had planted a seed. Fear, even small, can grow. And humans had a way of surprising those who underestimated them. As he turned to leave, a hush fell across the hall. A few whispers floated. What if he is right? But the majority returned to their usual discussions. They spoke of fleets, taxes, and minor disputes among alien worlds, ignoring the human warning entirely. Outside the council chambers, massive fleets of alien ships waited, ready to strike Earth. The humans on the planet below had no idea that decisions in this distant hall could soon determine their survival. And yet, even as the council laughed, the diplomat knew something they did not. Humanity had already begun preparing. They were no longer the fragile species the galaxy had once believed them to be. They were strong. They were united. And soon, the council would discover just how dangerous that could be. The warning had been ignored. But the consequences were coming. The silence of space was broken by a flash of movement. Alien warships streaked through the void, heading straight for Earth. The Galactic Council had decided to test humanity, to show them their place in the galaxy. Back on Earth, people went about their lives unaware of the massive fleet heading toward them. Cities glowed with lights, children laughed, and markets buzzed with energy. Humanity seemed ordinary, fragile, weak, just as the Council believed. But in secret, the humans had been preparing. Scientists, engineers, and strategists had worked tirelessly, anticipating the day the galaxy might come knocking. Advanced weapons were hidden deep underground, fleets of ships ready in orbit, and communication networks linking every corner of the world. Humanity was no longer defenseless. The first alien ships arrived in Earth's orbit. Massive vessels, bristling with weapons that could destroy cities with a single strike, hovered over the planet. The Council had expected an easy victory. They were wrong. From Earth's command center, a human commander gave the first orders. Deploy defense fleets. Activate orbital shields. Focus on disabling, not destroying. Show them what we've learned. In the blink of an eye, human ships launched from hidden bases. Sleek, fast, and armed with energy weapons that pulsed with a strange blue light, they darted through space, dodging alien fire. Explosions lit the darkness, but the humans moved with precision, coordinated as if every ship thought as one. The alien leaders watched from their command stations. Confusion spread across their faces. How? One of them hissed. These humans, they are organized. They are attacking back. Another alien, who had scoffed at the warning, turned pale. They shouldn't be able to fight like this. Our weapons are far superior. But superiority on paper meant nothing when facing an enemy who had adapted, learned, and united. Humanity's first strike was not just defense, it was calculated, strategic, and devastating. Alien ships began to falter. Some exploded, others fled, and the Council could only watch in disbelief. Meanwhile, on Earth, the human commander remained calm. Keep pushing. Show them strength, but don't overreach. Make them think twice before attacking again. The Council was panicked. Messages flew between leaders. Some wanted to retreat immediately, others insisted on pressing the attack. We cannot lose to humans, one shouted, its claws pounding the control panel. Perhaps, we underestimated them, muttered a smaller, quieter leader, but the room quickly drowned out the voice. Pride was stronger than caution. By the time the first alien wave was repelled, news spread across the galaxy. Humans were not weak. They had fought back with intelligence and courage. Fleets that were supposed to conquer had been shattered. Yet the Council remained stubborn. It was just a test, they claimed. The humans are lucky. Next time, they will not survive. The human diplomat who had warned them earlier watched from the shadows. A faint smile touched his lips. Humanity had shown the first proof of its strength. The Council's arrogance had met reality, and reality was far stronger than they imagined. As the alien fleet limped away, the humans did not celebrate. They knew this was only the beginning. The Council would not give up easily, and humanity had to be ready for the next strike. Suspense hung thick in the air. The first strike had shocked the Council. But the question remained, could humanity survive the full wrath of the galaxy? And more importantly, how far would they go to defend their home? The Galactic Council chambers had never been so tense. Alien leaders paced, shouted, and banged their claws on the glowing platforms of their thrones. Reports of their fleet's failure reached them in real time. Ships meant to dominate Earth had been destroyed or forced to retreat. The Council had expected humans to crumble, but instead, they had fought back with terrifying precision. This cannot be, the head of the Council roared, its voice echoing through the massive hall. Humans are weak. They cannot possibly have done this. A smaller, younger leader, trembling with fear, whispered to a neighbor, the humans, they are stronger than we imagined. What do we do now? Another elder snapped its tentacle in anger. Do not speak of fear. We are the Council. We are invincible. We crush worlds for fun. Yet they survived. They destroyed our ships. They fought us. Panic began to spread like wildfire. Alien leaders who had always been proud, confident, and fearless were now questioning everything. Some quietly suggested retreat, while others demanded immediate retaliation. In a dark corner of the chamber, a secretive member, known for his cunning, spoke quietly to himself, "They may be right. The humans could be unstoppable if we keep pushing. We may have underestimated them." A voice from the head of the council cut through the murmurs. "Enough. Fear is a weakness. We will not bow to humans. Prepare a second strike. Send the fleets. Show them their place in the galaxy." But doubt had already taken root. A few leaders exchanged nervous glances, realizing the first strike had not been a fluke. The humans were organized, intelligent, and united. And the council had ignored the warning. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, spies and messengers reported every movement of human fleets. Every plan the council made was intercepted and studied. Humanity was not only defending, they were predicting, adapting, and preparing for the next encounter. Back on Earth, the human commander reviewed the latest reports. He remained calm, though inside, he knew the council would escalate. "They will not stop," he told his team. "But neither will we. Humanity has learned to fight, and we will not be weak again." In the council chambers, arguments escalated. "We must attack with full force," one leader screamed. "Strike every human city, crush them before they grow stronger." "No," another shouted. "Retreat now. Regroup. We cannot afford more losses. If we continue, we risk our entire fleet." The hall erupted into chaos. Orders were shouted, cancelled, and shouted again. Plans were drawn up and discarded in minutes. The council, once proud and united, was now fractured and terrified. And all the while, the human diplomat watched from the shadows. He had warned them. They had laughed. They had attacked. Now, the seeds of panic were growing. And the council's arrogance was crumbling. A single thought ran through his mind: they still do not understand what humanity is capable of. Soon, they will regret ignoring the warning. The audience could feel the tension. The council's panic was real. Every alien leader's face showed fear for the first time in centuries. And humanity was only beginning to show its true power. The galaxy had underestimated humans. And that mistake was about to cost them dearly. The skies above Earth burned with light. Alien ships, massive and menacing, hovered over the planet, ready to unleash destruction. But humanity was ready. Unlike the council had imagined, humans were not panicking, they were calculating, adapting, and preparing to fight back. In Earth's orbital command center, the human commander stood before a holographic display of the alien fleet. Every ship, every weapon system, every movement was tracked and analyzed. His team worked in silence, speaking only when necessary, each action precise, like a well-oiled machine. "Deploy interceptors," he ordered. "Focus on disabling their engines first. We cannot afford civilian casualties. Make them regret underestimating us." From hidden bases around the planet, sleek human fighters shot into space. Their speed was unmatched, their weapons strange and brilliant, pulsing with energy the aliens could not understand. Missiles streaked past shields, striking critical systems. Alien ships flared and exploded, sending debris drifting through the void. The council watched in disbelief from their chambers. Their confident smiles had vanished, replaced by fear. "Impossible," one shouted, its tentacles trembling. "They should not be able to fight back like this. We have advanced technology. We are the council." But the human forces were not just attacking, they were strategic. They studied alien patterns, adapted mid-battle, and used the weaknesses the council had ignored for centuries. Every move was calculated, every strike precise. Humanity was not just defending, they were taking control. On Earth, the human commander monitored the battle with unwavering calm. "Keep pushing. Force them to retreat. Show them that we are no longer the species they once believed us to be," he said. Alien ships that had once hovered arrogantly now scattered, some fleeing the battlefield entirely. Others attempted desperate maneuvers, only to be intercepted by human forces already predicting their actions. Panic rippled through the alien fleets. Inside the council chambers, chaos erupted. Leaders yelled, blamed each other, and made rash decisions. Some whispered about retreat, others demanded reinforcements. The once proud council had lost control of the situation, all because they had ignored a simple warning. Meanwhile, humanity's counterattack continued. Strategic strikes disabled alien communication networks, leaving the fleet disorganized. Alien leaders who had believed humans to be weak now realized the terrifying truth. Earth's people were strong, united, and willing to fight to survive. The human diplomat watched from the shadows of the council chambers, a small smile on his face. He had warned them. They had laughed. They had attacked. Now, the consequences of their arrogance were clear for all to see. As the first wave of alien ships retreated, Earth remained intact. Humanity had struck back, not recklessly, but with precision and intelligence. The Council's arrogance had met reality, and reality was far stronger than they had imagined. Yet the battle was far from over. The Council would regroup, and humanity knew they could not allow themselves to be caught unprepared again. The war had begun in earnest, and the galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. Suspense lingered in the air. Could the Council survive humanity's next move? Could humans continue to strike with such force and strategy? And most importantly, how far would humanity go to defend their home? The Galactic Council chambers were no longer a place of confidence and pride. Alien leaders glared at each other, suspicion burning in their eyes. The first strike had failed. Humanity had fought back, and now whispers of betrayal spread faster than any battle report. Some council members had begun questioning their peers. Perhaps we underestimated them, one admitted quietly, its voice shaking. We cannot continue as before. Our fleets are faltering. Our strategies are failing. Others hissed in anger. You speak of weakness. You are the weak one. Do you want to surrender before we even fight properly? But behind the arguments, darker schemes were forming. Secret alliances, spies, and traitors moved through the council. A few leaders quietly reached out to humanity not to attack, but to protect themselves. They feared the human response more than their fellow council members. One alien, covered in shimmering silver scales, whispered into a secure communicator, "If we betray the council, humanity may spare our homeworld. If we stay loyal, we die." Another, a massive insect-like creature, shook its claws. "This is madness. Our pride, our traditions, everything could fall apart because of these humans. Perhaps it is time to make our own deals." The head of the council, oblivious to the murmurs, slammed a clawed hand onto the glowing control panel. "Enough. Humanity will learn their place. We will crush them. They will pay for their insolence." But some leaders had already made decisions behind closed doors. Secret meetings were held. Some prepared to secretly warn humans of upcoming strikes, hoping to save themselves. Others plotted to sabotage council fleets to prove loyalty while secretly aiding the enemy. Meanwhile, humans watched and waited. They had spies and informants who intercepted communications. They understood the council was fracturing. Humanity did not need to fight every alien, they only needed to strike at the right moments. The human commander leaned back, studying the reports. The council is divided. Pride has blinded them. Fear has reached even their strongest leaders. We can use this. We must use this. Back in the council chambers, voices rose in shouting matches. Blame was thrown like weapons. "It is your fault the humans survived." "No, it is yours." "We should strike immediately." "No, we must retreat." Tension reached a breaking point. The council, once united in arrogance, was now a battlefield of suspicion, betrayal, and fear. Even the loyal members began doubting their decisions. And somewhere in the shadows, the human diplomat observed it all. He had warned them once. Now, betrayal among their ranks made it clear, the council was crumbling. Humanity had not yet lifted a finger in full force, and already, the aliens were tearing themselves apart. Suspense lingered. Who would betray the council next? Which leaders would secretly side with humanity? And when the humans finally strike again, would the council survive the chaos they had sown themselves? One thing was certain, The arrogance of the Council had set the stage for their own undoing, and humanity was ready to exploit it. The Galactic Council had barely recovered from the chaos of betrayal. Ships had been destroyed, leaders humiliated, and trust within the Council was almost gone. Yet, their arrogance burned brighter than ever. They refused to listen. They believed humanity's victories were only temporary luck, not skill. But humanity had prepared. A new message, clear and direct, arrived in the Council chambers, carried by human diplomats across the galaxy. It was simple, but deadly serious. Stop your attacks. Retreat now. Humanity will defend itself, and the consequences of ignoring this warning will be catastrophic. The Council erupted once more. Many leaders laughed, dismissing the warning as foolish. Humans threaten us. Do they not understand their place in the galaxy? One roared, slamming a claw on the control panel. But not all were laughing. Some Council members, still shaken by the last strike, exchanged worried glances. They are serious, whispered one. And they are stronger than we thought. Another whispered back, we cannot underestimate them again. But, our pride, we cannot retreat yet. The head of the Council bellowed, drowning out all hesitation. Enough. This is intimidation. We are the Council. No human will dictate our actions. Humanity had anticipated this arrogance. They had prepared not only defenses but calculated strikes, showing the Council that they were ready for any escalation. From Earth's orbit, human fleets aligned like a deadly net, waiting for the next move. The human commander spoke calmly to his team. They still do not understand. Pride will blind them. Their next strike will be their last mistake. We must be ready to show them the full strength of humanity. Meanwhile, within the Council, whispers turned into arguments, and arguments turned into panic. Perhaps we should listen, said a cautious leader. If we ignore this, we could lose everything. Silence, snapped a senior leader. We will not bow to threats. Humanity will learn that arrogance will not protect them. The warning had been given again. Clear, simple, impossible to ignore. But the Council, drunk with power and pride, refused to heed it. Outside, the humans readied their weapons. Defense systems were online, ships in formation, ready to strike with precision. Every movement of the alien fleet had been predicted, studied, and countered. Humanity had no intention of waiting idly while the Council continued their folly. The audience could feel the tension. The stage was set for a final confrontation. The Council had been warned not once, but twice. Yet they continued down the path of arrogance and destruction. A single thought hung over the Council chambers like a dark shadow: they ignored the warning again. And humanity will not forgive them this time. The question remained, would the Council survive their next mistake, or had they already sealed their fate? The galaxy shook. Alien fleets, massive and relentless, approached Earth with full force. Every Council member had gathered their strongest ships, weapons blazing, confident they could crush humanity once and for all. Pride and arrogance blinded them, just as the human diplomat had predicted. But humanity was ready. From hidden orbital bases and underground launch centers, human ships streaked into space like lightning. Sleek, fast, and armed with energy weapons beyond the Council's imagination, they struck with precision. Every attack was calculated, every defense anticipated. The human commander stood before a massive holographic map, guiding every movement. Target engines first. Disable their weapons. Avoid unnecessary destruction. We are defending, not destroying. But make them regret underestimating us. In space, the first collisions lit the void. Alien ships exploded in flashes of fire and energy. Massive warships faltered as humans struck weak points, predicted and studied for years. Chaos spread through the alien fleets. Panic replaced confidence. Inside the Council chambers, leaders shouted, clawed, and waved frantically. We cannot lose. Strike harder, some cried. Others whispered, we underestimated them. We should have listened. Yet no one could stop the tide. Humanity's strategies were flawless. Every move the Council made was countered, every plan anticipated. Ships that had once hovered arrogantly now fled or were destroyed. Alien leaders could only watch in disbelief as their empire's pride crumbled. On the battlefield, humans were fearless. Pilots maneuvered through impossible odds, engineers repaired ships in record time, and soldiers on the ground coordinated strikes across continents. Humanity fought as one, united, unstoppable. The Council's panic reached its peak. Leaders blamed each other. Fleets collided accidentally, communication broke down, and chaos ruled. Even those who had once scoffed at humans now trembled at their ingenuity and power. The human diplomat watched from afar, a small, satisfied smile on his face. He had warned them. They had ignored the warning. Now, the arrogance of the Council had led them to ruin. By the battle's end, alien forces were shattered. Ships were destroyed, commanders defeated, and pride replaced by fear. Humanity had not only defended its planet, they had proven their strength to the galaxy. Yet even in victory, the human commander knew this was only the beginning. The Council would not vanish overnight. They would recover, regroup, and perhaps strike again. Humanity had shown power, but they also had a message: never underestimate the human race. Suspense lingered in the air. The Council had learned a painful lesson. Would they rebuild and return stronger? Or had arrogance finally sealed their fate? And for humanity, the question remained: how far would they go to defend their home, and what new challenges awaited them in the vast galaxy? The stage was set for the final act. The galaxy had seen what humans could do, and no one would ever forget it. The battle was over. Silence returned to the galaxy, but it was a heavy, uneasy silence. Alien fleets that had once seemed unstoppable were shattered. The proud Galactic Council had been humiliated. Some leaders had survived, retreating to lick their wounds, while others vanished entirely, their worlds lost or captured. On Earth, humanity celebrated, but cautiously. Cities lit up in joy, but the leaders knew the galaxy was still dangerous. They had survived the Council's first true assault, but the universe was vast, and threats were always looming. The human commander stood on a high observation deck, overlooking the planet. He watched ships returning from battle, some damaged but all carrying the message that humanity had won and that they would not be underestimated again. The human diplomat, who had warned the Council from the start, now addressed his people quietly: "We have shown the galaxy our strength. But victory is not arrogance. It is caution, preparation, and unity. The Council underestimated us. They ignored our warning. That mistake nearly cost them everything, and it could have cost us too." In the council chambers, surviving leaders argued, blamed, and schemed, but the cracks were too deep to repair. Trust was gone. Fear had taken root. And the humans had proven one undeniable truth: the galaxy had underestimated humanity, at its own peril. Yet even as humanity celebrated, far beyond the known systems, new eyes watched. Some alien races had remained neutral, observing the war. Others had fled. And some, curious, ambitious, and dangerous, had taken note of Earth's growing power. The human commander and his team knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had defended its home, but the universe was vast, and challenges would return. The galaxy had learned a lesson: humans were not weak. They were united, clever, and stronger than anyone had imagined. As night fell on Earth, the stars above seemed brighter, filled with silent observers and future threats. Humanity had survived, but the story of their rise, their courage, and their fight was far from over. The warning had been ignored, the Council had been humbled, and a new chapter in the galaxy was beginning, one where humanity would never again be underestimated. And somewhere, in the shadows of the distant galaxies, a whisper carried: "The humans, they are not done yet. We must watch them closely." The screen fades, leaving suspense, anticipation, and the undeniable truth: humanity had walked away from peace, but they had walked toward something far greater.